Okay, there were a few interesting things that happened today and yesterday and Friday. So Friday, Saturday, and today is now Sunday. So on Friday, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. spoke at the Libertarian National Convention. Yesterday, President Trump spoke at the Libertarian National Convention. And today, Ron Paul actually spoke at the Libertarian National Convention, and the Libertarian Party selected its presidential nominee. This whole thing was a mess, not even a hot mess, but just a mess from my point of view. It really reminded me of the 9/11 Truth movement. That's what it felt like watching the Libertarian Party convention over the last 3 or 4 days. That's pretty much all I want to say about that. So I got some clips, got the Trump clip, but I want to get to the nominee, to where the Libertarian Party people, I should say, not the whole Libertarian Party, but at least one person, 3, 4 people from the Libertarian Party actually tried to nominate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And so here is what happened this morning.
Next up, we have RFK Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Excuse me. Yeah, either one.
Good morning, Libertarians! I'm Hector Roos from Florida. I'm here to give a quick introduction. Waiting for the timer. Thank you. Again, good morning, Libertarians. I'm Hector Roos, a volunteer, a passionate activist. I'm someone who is encouraged that for the first time in my generation, I get to vote for someone who could possibly end the duopoly once and for all. That's Bobby Kennedy. I want to tell you that the Libertarian Party is at a crossroads. There are a lot of state chairs who are very nervous about whether their party will continue to be recognized as a party after this election, whether their candidates will be able to run as Libertarians, or they'll be stuck running as as we have 15 to 18 states that rely on the presidential election for their ballot access. New York's already lost their ballot access last cycle. Georgia is on the chopping block too. In any scenario right now, we know that the greatest vote getter for the protest vote this year is Bobby Kennedy. At the end of the day, we are going to champion our ideas of ending the Fed, restoring medical freedom, punishing the lockdowners, ending the bureaucracy that has crippled our economy. And I'm going to leave it now to the next person.
My name is Nathan Rummick. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I believe that we have a few pragmatic people in this room. And I know that there is no magical transporter that gets us to Libertopia. We have a hard road ahead of us, and it's going to be a hard road to get there. On that road, we have to make choices, wise choices about our path. Tearing down the two-party system is the first step on that path. RFK Jr. is the way down that path. His campaign will tear down the two-party system, and in that process will also take us 90% of the way where we want to go. I ask you all to think about where we are going and how we get there. Because if we continue to do this...
This is important because this party just They just can't get it together. And this is their own thing. This is what they want. They want to elect their own candidate. I get it. I understand it. That's what you want to do. But they're making some pretty valid points. And when you look at who the nominees are, aside from our RFK Jr.'s, like, who are these guys? I think President Trump is going to go after the Libertarian Party, too, at their own convention, which is hilarious. Hilarious. So getting into that. You know how long Trump speeches go? They usually go about an hour minimum. This one went like 30 minutes. This may be a record for Trump's shortest speech. I'll get to that later. I do want to continue playing this here. This is interesting. I don't know. It's just kind of like they just don't get it. You just don't get it, Scott.
Same thing over and over and over again. We will not get there. We have to think about who we can join together with, what coalitions we can build, so that we can gather our support and bring in new libertarians to our party. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hello, libertarians. My name is Steve French. I'm from South Carolina. I know. Give it to me. All right, my beautiful misfits. Let's go ahead and have it. Let's go ahead and bring it up. So this is the deal, guys.
So what they're doing here is these are guys they're stepping. I don't understand the whole process of how this works, where where you get to nominate the candidates, this candidate, that candidate. I'll show you what the actual results are of round one. Kennedy is knocked out in round one. He gets 2% of the delegate vote, so it's done. He's not going to be the Libertarian Party not candidate, right? But it's a big honor that he would actually be included in this conversation. Donald Trump is included in the conversation as a write-in there too. We'll get to that. But what these are, these must be libertarians who support RFK, who want to or trying to convince the Libertarian Party that RFK is their best choice. They can nominate RFK Jr. legally, right? Trump can't do it. There's something with the Republican Party where even if the Libertarians nominated him, Trump could not accept the nomination. And Trump's not worried about that because we're going to see how all that goes in November. This guy's pretty good. All these speakers are pretty good, trying to convince their party that, hey, the best choice is RFK Jr. The Libertarians are just not buying it.
It's time. You guys in this body right now have a moment unlike any other. Every single one of you in this room right now have a chance to change the course of history, not just for this country, but for the freaking world. All right? I understand. Let's get something straight. Robert Kennedy is not a libertarian, okay? All right? Can we admit that? Let's just go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. All right? Exactly. But let's get something else straight. None of us, we are all misfits. We are all outcasts. There may be a few of you that were born libertarian, but for the rest of us, we found our way here. We found enough pain either in the Republican Party, in the Democrat Party, or whatever it was to finally decide that this is going to be our home. Okay? We are a team. This is our family. The problem that we're having right now, guys, is that we're the party of principle, right? It's all about principles, right? Yeah. Those principles right now are costing us. This chip on our shoulder that we wear those principles by, it's killing us. Guys, this body is not going to be the same as after this convention. Do you guys understand what's going to happen? We are in the crosshairs now. They all know what's going on.
It's kind of
it is only going to be more difficult.
It's kind of a fear tactic here, which is something Kennedy has really stayed away from, or he gets accused of. Trump gets accused of this too, promoting the fear. But they all of them are talking about the fear. If you don't vote for me, the fear, what's going to happen? It's all a fear tactic in its own way, I think.
For everyone in this room moving forward, the powers that be do not want us to win. So what I want to say is this, all right? We need someone in this country to take on the duopoly. We know it's a uniparty system, all right? And I love our candidates. I love what we have done, and I love this party. But guys, 1% is not going to do it, all right? We need to be talking about how
Hey, at least Trump gave him 3%. This guy's only giving them 1%.
we win. I'm sorry, guys. I love you, and I love you so much. This process is what we need. But guys, for us candidates that are out there that are actually trying to sell this to the voters, we need your help. All right? We need your help. You're the ones right here in this body that are making things difficult for ourselves. So what I'm saying to everyone here is think about what the options are. Think about the positives. I understand that Kennedy isn't the best choice that we could have as a libertarian for our principles, but he understands a certain number of things, all right? Censorship, all right? That's a big problem. Is anybody else kicked off Facebook right now? I know I am. I know I am. Has anybody else been kicked off? Has anybody else gotten the death threats from their citizens for running for office? Exactly. This is life or death, guys. This isn't playing around.
Fear.
I want everybody to consider what's really going on and what's at stake. If we do this, we are denying the country an option. All right? We will end up one way or the other. If Robert Kennedy isn't our guy, then we're going to go against him. And I'm fine with that. But you know what? The same thing's going on. I've talked to all you states. I mean, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia. We are spending so much time, so much effort with this ballot access. We're not even out there talking to the candidates about how we actually get these policies through.
Mm-hmm.
We're spinning our wheels.
True.
I've been doing this for a decade with you guys. I love this place. But I'm telling you, it's not the same. The world is changing. We have to become savvy.
Mm-hmm.
So I am putting my vote behind Robert Kennedy because I think he is the best way to save this party right now. And you might disagree with me on that, but censorship, that is a huge thing with us. Individualism, medical freedom, I know where he stood back in COVID where everybody else was just towing the party lines. This is something that I hope you guys consider. I hope you guys look at the positives. I thank you for your time.
Gonna get booed out the building, guys.
Hello.
That's cool. At least they gave
My
it a
name is
shot.
Justin Pelletier. I'm from New York.
Give it a try.
Thank you. In October, Mr. Kennedy declared his independence, and I took my daughter out of school for the day, and I drove down to get a measure of the man. What I heard was an honest person, one who's willing to listen and to challenge his own ideas. My goal, hearing that speech, was to move him toward our principles, because I think we share that at least. And so I bought him a gift membership, the Gift of Liberty, with the hopes that it would move him toward us. And up until this morning, I don't think he was willing to accept our nomination, even if we had elected him from this floor. And I know why. We're a liability, frankly. He wants to win. But I think he wants to win with a message to heal the divide and to bring people together. You can't convince somebody about the merits of libertarianism if they are unwilling to engage in dialogue. So I invite you to consider how we might engage others in the dialogue and convince them of the merits of our principles. We can't do that if we ostracize people who don't think like us. And so with that in mind, I'll end with a quote and turn it over to a video. Frankly, I don't know if he'll even accept the nomination. We're going to hear from him in a minute. One quote: "Truth is annealed in the furnace of debate." That quote, I think, is something that resonates with each of us. We're about to hear from the author of that quote right now.
I'm sending in this video from California this morning to let you know that I accept this unexpected honor. I've always admired the Libertarian Party. I have a deep alignment with the core values, the
few claps, sir.
antipathy toward war, the commitment to end our addiction to forever wars, and the love of personal freedoms and liberties, the understanding that the only way that we are going to fulfill the destinies that God created us to fulfill is by exercising freedom of choice, and that the United States Constitution is the global template for outlining those freedoms, and that those freedoms are sacrosanct. The Constitution was written for hard times, and that there are no exceptions. I'm going to protect these rights. I'm going to protect your rights. I'm going to protect the United States Constitution. And I'm going to end the foreign wars. And I'm very, very grateful to the Libertarian Party for this great honor. And I look forward to an alliance across the country, a fusion alliance of all of these independent parties who are now challenging the Republican Democrat corrupt duopoly.
Nice.
Thank you, everybody. Let your freedom of choice be heard.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's where the video. I mean, that's where that part ends, where that segment ends there. But so that's what happened this morning. Kennedy said, "Yeah, sure, I'll accept the nomination." So again, it's not like he won the Libertarian Party, right? He's just won. He's one in the running, and I'm going to show you all the people that are in the running and what happens and who it comes down. I don't even know who it is. I haven't made it that far. I know it comes down to two people, but again, Kennedy gets knocked out in round one. But before that, Kennedy made this post here on. He made this post today, and this is what he says here. I'll show this whole thing. This is from today, obviously at 1:28 p.m. It's going to get 1 million views here pretty quickly. But he says, "What an unexpected honor to wake up this morning to a groundswell in the Libertarian Party seeking to nominate me. I would have accepted the nomination if offered, because independents and third parties need to unite right now to reclaim our country from the corrupt two-party system. It was a high point of my campaign to speak at the LP National Libertarian Party National Convention on Friday about our shared and urgent concerns. While we may not agree on every downstream issue, our core values of peace, free speech, civil liberties make us natural allies. Together we will break the stranglehold of the Uniparty, end the forever wars, pardon Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and Ross Ulbricht, dismantle wasteful and abusive bureaucracies, and restore the authority of the Bill of Rights. Let's take our country back." Okay, does have a few. Says, "Yes, let's get together. Together we will break the stranglehold of the two-party system. The American political system no longer runs on binary choice. Thank you. It was an honor to speak at the LP." I think that's all that there is from the Twitter. But so he is very humble, very gracious to accept this. And then what happens? Then it all went downhill. I mean, libertarians, like I said, they're just, I don't know what this is going to do to the Libertarian Party. I'm not up on the Libertarian Party. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how the whole process works. All I know is what I watch, and watching them work through this process just seems like a big cluster here. So it comes down, and they have these candidates, a lot of whom we've never heard of. I know I've never heard of. I can't speak for you or anything. I mean, Bend Over, Sean Ono Lennon, Denali Cat, Stormy Daniels even got 1 vote here. Trump got 6. Toad, Josh Anderson, got 16. Noda got 11. None of the above. That's another interesting story that's going to come up here, especially when we look at who is eliminated. All these people are eliminated all have more than NOTA, than NOTA. But NOTA goes on to at least round 5 or round 6. I think they're still voting right now. I don't think they have decided yet. So for some reason, NOTA, even though it gets, NOTA votes, 11 votes here, he gets to go on to round 2, 3, 4, and 5, but Kennedy gets dropped when he has 19 after nobody even knows that he's in the running. Then nobody knows that this is someone that the Libertarians could vote for. He gets 19 votes. That is 2.07%, and he is eliminated. President Trump gets 6 votes, write-in votes, by the way, write-in votes, and gets 0.65. He's not eliminated in round 1. I just don't understand this. But I mean, they don't eliminate write-in candidates, is my guess here. That's my guess. But for whatever reason, like I said, NOTA continues on. I'm going to play a little bit of this here so we can see what happens.
Okay, because video is not translating to people watching the screen, I'm going to read the percentages. Charles Bowley, 2.29%. Jacob Hornberger, 6.42%. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., 2.07%. Lars Mapstead, 13.28%. Art Olivier, 0.44%. Chase Oliver, 19.70%. Michael Rechtenwald, 28.18%.
Point of inquiry.
I'm in the middle.
Took a photo
No,
at the
absolutely.
beginning, and it was 27.87 for him at first. Why
Okay.
did it change?
Let me finish this. Thank you.
It's
Michael
already
Rechtenwald, 28.18%. Joshua Smith, 7.94%.
It sounds like Michael Rechtenwald is going to be the one. It comes down to Michael Rechtenwald and Chase Oliver, and somehow NOTA keeps none of the above, hangs in there with the 3. It's so stupid. It makes absolutely no sense. He got like 1%, and he continues on. So some shenanigans going on here.
Mike Termott, 15.34%. Toad Josh Anderson, 1.74%. I'm not going to read the write-ins. All right.
There it is. Now they're going to ask, anyone under a certain percentage be eliminated.
Oh, NOTA? Let's scroll down. Let's see. Do we have NOTA? Totally fair question.
It's a write-in. I mean,
NOTA, 1.2%.
Come on. And NOTA stays in. It's
Gotcha,
just
guys.
dumb.
Okay, it's 3:23. We have Ron Paul coming up in 7 minutes.
So that's just round 1. They're going to do whoever didn't get this number of votes needs to.
Madam Secretary,
That's-
Mike 3.
We're going to check to see what order we're going to do things at. Did someone have a really, really pressing, urgent point of something urgent? Yes, microphone.
Sam Goldstein, Indiana. I moved on the next ballot to strike anybody with less than 10% other than NOTA.
See, why other than NOTA?
Okay,
Why other than NOTA?
it's been moved and seconded to strike any presidential candidate on the next round of balloting with less than 10%. I believe this would require, it requires 2/3.
They're just a mess. This whole thing is
All right.
a mess.
All in favor of striking any presidential candidates who receive less than 10% on the next ballot, please say aye. All opposed?
It's pretty close.
That does not have 2/3.
Mhm.
It's pretty close to 50-50. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's all I want to play for that. So that is what happened there. Kennedy's out in round 1. Well, they gave it the old college try. They didn't want Kennedy. They want somebody else. Nobody really going to hear of. And as you're going to see here, I'm going to play Trump's, because I was wondering if I should play Trump's speech or look at his Truth Social post. Maybe we should go through the Truth Social post here. No, I think let's play the video. Let's play the video. This was Trump speaking yesterday, and this is where it starts here. Just a short little clip. Play part of this. We'll play the whole thing, and we will see. I think you'll like this. I think you'll get a kick out of this.
A great libertarian who may very well be in the room right now, I believe, but he's a great libertarian, DeRoy Murdoch, who I've become friends with through his writings in the American Spectator and numerous other places, wrote an article yesterday in which he mentions just some of the things that make me a libertarian without even trying to be one. That's nice. DeRoy wrote, Donald J. Trump will address the Libertarian Party and its national convention on Saturday. The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to
Only
win.
if you want to win.
Thank you, DeRoy.
Pretty hostile.
Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing
That's awesome. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. He's right.
so, policy and politics are as solid as the Hope Diamond. DeRoy says this event is very unprecedented, he said. As the Cato Institute president, Peter Gotler, observed in Thursday's Washington Post, it will be the first time in U.S., think of this, first time in U.S. history that a presidential candidate of a rival party will address the convention of a party that is presumably gathering to nominate its own candidate. Now I think you should nominate me or at least vote for me, and we should win together.
It's pretty split. It's split audience.
You heard those words. Nominate me or vote. Vote for me. Because the libertarians want to vote for me, and most of them will. And it's very important. Because we have to get rid of the worst president in history. And together we will. And without it, there's a risk that we could have 4 more years. We won't have a country left. So what is the purpose of the Libertarian Party getting 3%? What is the reason to take a chance of having this horrible president destroy our country, which he will do in far less than 4 years? It's not going to take 4 years. That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts.
Okay, you heard it.
Pretty good.
You heard it.
That's pretty big.
He's saying something here that does need to be recognized, where he's talking about vote for me. And then on Truth Social, this is what he says about kind of walking it back a little bit, I would say. I don't know. It seems like he's walking things back a little bit. This is what he said. The reason I didn't file paperwork for the Libertarian nomination, which I would have absolutely gotten if I wanted it, as everyone could tell by the enthusiasm of the crowd last night, was the fact that as a Republican nominee, I am not allowed to have the nomination of another party. Regardless, I believe I will get a majority of Libertarian votes. Junior Kennedy is a radical left Democrat who's destroyed everything he's touched, especially in New York and New England, and in particular as it relates to the cost and practicality of energy. He's not a libertarian. Only a fool would vote for him. So that's what Trump posted at 1:49. Just like a few minutes after, maybe 20 minutes after Kennedy posted Yeah, Kennedy's post is at 128. So they're both paying attention to each other, I think. Now, the other thing that Kennedy posted about, oh, he's got a video here. Gotta watch that. But Kennedy did post another thing today, too, about an hour ago. This is what he says. President Trump scammed American workers. He promised to bring back manufacturing, raise wages, fix trade deals, close the carried interest loophole, and help small farmers. But everything President Trump achieved were things the Republican machine wanted. We got a tax cut for Jeff Bezos, deregulation for special interests, and giveaways to agricultural conglomerates. President Trump let the Bush wing of the GOP run all his agencies. His Interior Secretary was an oil and gas lobbyist. His Defense Secretary was a Raytheon lobbyist. His EPA Administrator was a coal lobbyist. His HHS Secretary was a pharmaceutical lobbyist. And his labor secretary was a lawyer from mega corporations. President Trump's supposed support for farmers, $28 billion, all went to big ag conglomerates. We had the worst rioting and looting in this country had seen since the 60s under President Trump. Now, I would disagree with, I don't disagree that we did have the worst rioting, but that all was all focused against Donald Trump. So there's nothing he could do about the rioting and the looting, especially when he went and offered a lot of these states. He went and actually offered them National Guard help, and the states turned him down. The states would rather they'd rather have their cities burn than have Donald Trump's help. So that's how bad the hatred goes. So when it comes to the riots and all that stuff, that is a big plan, a big plot against Donald Trump. It was one of the things that they were trying to do to basically force Donald Trump out, to bully people into not voting for him, as if that would stop these riots and everything. Kennedy says Donald Trump inflamed racial tensions. I definitely disagree with that, and didn't keep us safe. Instead of using Donald Trump did a lot of things for the Black and the Hispanic voters. Donald Trump did a lot of things when he pardoned people. Look at the people that he pardoned, the people he let out of prison who should have probably never been there in the first place, or people that got way too much time for what they had done. Donald Trump has been helping people of all races for a long, long time, way before he became the president. So I disagree with that. Instead of using federal law enforcement to stop the rioting, Trump thought it was good optics to let Democrat-run cities burn. I definitely disagree with that. Trump tried. He offered help. They did not want his help because it was all geared against him. And they did not want the help of Donald Trump because he could have stopped those riots, and he offered to. So that's not Trump's fault. I definitely disagree with that. Kennedy also says President Trump bragged about arming Ukraine more than Obama did. He also walked away unilaterally from the intermediate range nuclear missile treaty with Russia, destabilizing our relationship. He also exacerbated tensions between Ukraine and Russia that ultimately caused a war. I definitely disagree with that. Under Trump, we didn't have these wars. Russia didn't do anything. They didn't make any move. Ukraine, all the stupid moves that Ukraine made under Barack Obama, they didn't make those moves either. So I don't know what Kennedy's talking about there either. Definitely disagree with some of this. It's like the first part Kennedy wrote, and then the second part, I don't know. It just seems a little bit off to me. I don't know. Trump appointed the worst neocons to the highest positions of power in his administration: John Bolton, H.R. McMaster, and Robert O'Brien. Now Lindsey Graham is one of his top advisors and likely to be his Secretary of State. I don't know. Trump has said a lot of bad things about Lindsey Graham, and it's gone after Lindsey Graham a little bit there too. But he has supported Lindsey Graham too. Trump is a very loyal guy. President Trump bombed Syria, killed an Iranian general. Good. he Kennedy's smarter than this. What Trump did was these were strategic things. He did very strategic things when he did them, how he did them, based on what his military advisors, not the top brass, but based on what the people on the ground were telling him. And he got the job done, and quickly and easily. So he didn't, like, he bombed Syria. He bombed strategic targets in Syria. He killed an Iranian general. Good. Yeah, the Iranian general that he killed was a bad person, and he failed to fulfill his promise of ending the war in Afghanistan. He was getting there. He was definitely getting there. I mean, I don't think anyone can doubt that. He doesn't talk about. He's not talking about how Trump dealt with ISIS. He's not talking about that. So there's definitely some things here I would definitely disagree with Kennedy on, but he's a much smarter guy than me, for sure. President Trump invented lockdowns. I think we've had lockdowns before President Trump, but maybe Trump took it to another level. He shut down millions of small businesses, and then he also reopened them. Trump was also one of the first ones to actually try to reopen those businesses, and the states did not want to reopen. The states that did shut down. And he facilitated the greatest wealth transfer to billionaires in this country's history. But he didn't do it through bailouts, that's for sure. Well, maybe he did, actually. Let's see. President Trump did nothing to solve the opioid crisis. He did have drug task force, and he did have things that he was doing. Kennedy's not talking about the things President Trump did for human traffic either, but the whole border thing, focusing on the border, also had to do with this drug crisis too. And remember, Trump really only got 2-3 years. And I mean, but even before he got in office, they were already coming after him. So the deep state, the global government, the NWO, they were already coming after him. And despite all of these things, but I think Kennedy is right. A lot of these people that Trump had in office were part of the problem, probably part of this deep state. They were there to bring him down, as we've seen with every president ever. They always have bad people in there. If you think a second Trump term would be any different, you are engaging in wishful thinking. So the gloves are coming off a little bit with both of these two guys, which is good. That's what I want to see. You know, I need to be educated on this stuff. What do these two people think about all of these different topics? So I don't end up living in my own little bubble, in my own little world either. So I do want to, I have not seen this. It says, this is just posted 12 minutes ago. Kenny says, when it comes to our national debt, President Trump and President Biden were equally bad for our country. Neither of them have shown they can balance the budget. And in my opinion, neither deserve a second chance. Let's watch this. Let's watch this together.
How can you say Biden and Trump are similarly catastrophic or both catastrophic?
Both of them did bad things to our country. President Trump, after coming in and promising that he was going to run the government like a business, he shut down 3.3 million businesses.
We did the right thing. We closed the country down.
With no due process, no just compensation. That's a violation of the Constitution. He ran up an $8 trillion debt. He spent more money than every president between George Washington and George W. Bush, 283 years. President Biden is racing to catch up with him. He's added $1 trillion in the last 100 days. We're now spending more for our national debt than we are on a defense budget just to service that debt. Within 5 years, 50 cents out of every dollar that we collect in taxes is going to go to servicing the debt. Within 10 years, 100%. It's not sustainable. They're both catastrophic. Neither of them can solve that problem.
Nice. It's a good video. Really good video. Well put together. And yeah, Kennedy is definitely a man that I really admire and respect. Always love hearing his views and his thoughts on these issues. See if I have anything else. You know, here's something a little bit off topic, I guess, but since we're here, got a few more minutes. Try to keep this to an hour here. I really like Richard Petty, the race car driver, and Richard Petty, of course, has pretty much now come out and endorsed Trump too. Well, what is this?
This course pretty as hell, ain't it?
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Almost make you think about switching parties a little bit, don't it?
Under no circumstances.
Absolutely, you're right, 100%. I was just playing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But the Democratic Party does have to do a better job, black folks.
That's true. That's true. I mean, this migrant situation is wild.
I mean, but student loans, we got inflation going crazy. I mean, it's a lot, man. They got to do better.
It do make you think, though, huh?
A little bit. Maybe we should stop talking.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We just play golf.
Yeah, let's just hit the ball.
Yeah. Nice shot.
Nice shot, yeah.
Good shot, bro. Nice shot.
All right, on me?
Yeah, that's on you.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly what we saw there, but it's pretty good. Pretty funny. Let's see. Mike Lee. Trump's speech at the Libertarian Convention is strong and powerful. He came out strong against central bank digital currency, against unnecessary wars, against high taxes, for pro-growth, light-touch regulatory reforms. Libertarians everywhere should watch and listen. Well, they won't. They should, but they won't. They're in their own word. Standing before the libertarians and asking them to join with him to defeat communism is one of the most public, spirited, and judicious actions of any public official in decades. The raucous reception will make headlines, but this is a historic event. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like the libertarians were feeling Trump. Just didn't feel it. Didn't feel like they were feeling it. Trump gets massive cheers at the Libertarian National Convention. Well, he also got boos too. But yeah, he did get cheers after promising to commune Ross over. So that is true. There were times they agreed, the times they disagreed. It was pretty interesting. So we'll see. I think Trump is right, though. I think Trump is tremendous performance by Trump before a tough crowd. I think Trump is going to get a lot of people to vote for him. But I haven't seen this. I heard this was really good, actually. Let's play this.
I can't wait for Uncle Donnie to win. I can't wait. He'll get rid of all you fucking liberals. You liberals are gone when he fucking wins. You fucking blowjob liberals are done. Uncle Donnie's gonna take this election landslide, cuz. Landslide, you fucking half a blowjob. Can't landslide. The fuck out of here, you scumbag.
Okay. That's the New Yorkers. Where's the Richard Petty? Oh, here it is. Richard Petty. Can't really hear what they're saying, but can't hear what they're saying, but he says, the king of NASCAR, this is from Bo Ladon, the king of NASCAR, Richard Petty, just met the king of New York, Donald Trump. You're the best, Richard Petty told Trump. Mayor Eric Adams, you better be taking Diddy's keys to NYC and giving it to the rightful president. Wow. Richard Petty tweeted, tweeted, I have no idea. Yeah, maybe he's on Truth Social. That's pretty cool. Richard Petty is definitely my favorite race car driver. When I was growing up as a kid watching NASCAR, it was all about Richard Petty. I'm sad to say I didn't even know he was still around or alive. That's pretty bad. But I've been out of the NASCAR for a long, long time. I don't have cable, so I don't really get to watch anything. Richard Petty said, never know who you're going to run into at the racetrack. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. I really like that. That's just way off topic, but with everything else going on, that just made me smile. This is pretty good. Wow. Not gonna play. All right. Okay, I tried. Not gonna play. That's okay. Let's see. think that is about it. I do want to maybe listen a little bit of the Ron Paul speech. This was a really good speech. I only caught like the first couple minutes of it. Maybe that's a good way to kind of end this show. I heard that he mentioned JFK in this. Let's take a listen for a few minutes.
The presidential nominee. He inspired many of us to become
By the way, the Libertarians got to work on this camera work. This thing is shaking like bacon.
Libertarian and to join this party and continue his good work. We are extremely grateful that he has made it all the way out here to speak to us.
Okay, this is just...
I am extremely honored and humbled to present the great Dr. Ron Paul to you.
It's good worth watching. Hold that camera, please.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm among friends for sure. And a lot too, wow. You know, I've given a couple speeches in the past, and one of the things that I talk to libertarian groups about is being active and having meetings and promote the cause. But I said, if you do get together, one rule that I'm going to pass on to you is you should have a lot of fun doing it. And it sounds like you are. But this is just great. And Angela, I want to thank you very much for the introduction, as well as
what is going on with that
running
camera?
this campaign and this convention. That's a job and a half. So, but it is wonderful to be here because there's a lot of enthusiasm here. I have one curious question I do want to ask. Most of you know that I was a nominee for the Libertarian Party 1988.
They messed that up too.
But you might not know that I signed up as a lifetime member, and I paid in gold. So I am delighted to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation. I think really if I had a theme for what I want to talk about is the fact that the empire has ended. That's good news for us. Yeah. You know, one thing people have a controversy about is conspiracies. And I'm all for conspiracies, but I have one little thing to add. I only want to hear the true conspiracies, which most of them are true. But it is so important, you know, to know what we believe in, and that's my emphasis. I often wonder, you know, when I went to the college campuses and talked to a lot of individuals during the presidential campaigns, that they would hear from me. You know, you'll probably hear a little bit of that from me tonight, and that is the fact that there's a problem out there, a big problem out there. And it wasn't created by you, it was created by, guess what? Politicians in Washington that need to be removed. But I divide the activities into two places. One is the philosophy that we have, and then the whole idea of what's going on with politics. And there's too often a division there. And the one thing is, if the competition, we should be doing a lot better than we're doing as libertarians when you think that the competition isn't all that smart. I mean, you have a couple of what they call big parties, but do they have a philosophy? It's one thing we can say about libertarians. At least we have something to believe in: liberty. You know, we have the philosophy that we seek and talk about, but we also have political activities, and that to me is a contest between what the people are thinking and saying, and how do you change the government. And you know, there are some sinister groups out there that, you know, they want to change the government too, and they want chaos in the streets, and they're promoting all the nonsense, almost everything opposite of what we believe as libertarians.
I'm gonna end this right there. I can't take this shaky cam, but it's a good speech. Definitely listen to the audio and make sure that you check that out. Always good to see Ron Paul. The guy is still very active. They kept talking about his age. Oh, he's too old. He can't serve. Blah blah blah. This guy could have done it. Could have done it. He could still do it. He's still smart. I mean, when you look at how Joe Biden has aged since 2020, and then you look at Ron Paul, he's right there. He's right there. Ron Paul is still, you could tell he's all there. Just like Trump, you could tell they're all there, unlike Joe Biden. All right, my friends, God bless you all. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you. And until next time, love each other.